Yo, what's going on? Your boy Ghost here, and today I am bringing you guys a comparison video between the Bullfrog and FFAR. Now, to be honest, man, from my last video, I feel like a lot of people should have known this video was coming. I mentioned in my last video that the Bullfrog meta is potentially coming, especially with the potential FFAR nerf around the corner. I know that sounds, stupid because the FFAR has already received 2 nerfs, but it's still being used across everyone's loadout. Everyone's still using it, and I could see it definitely receiving another nerf towards its damage and or fire rate. And with that happening, or if that actually does happen, things like the Bullfrog will be allowed to again come out on top, and an SMG meta will probably more than likely thrive in the new scenario, which I'm hoping for. But anyways, before we get into all that, I want to say, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 2K. We are less than 400 subs away. Let's see if we can hit it before June, the midway point of 2021. That'd be really dope. Also, if you find this video entertaining or useful, hit that like button. Let's shoot for, like, I don't know, 10 to 15 likes. And lastly, if you would please do me a favor and follow my Twitch channel at alwaysghost_. We just be vibing over there streaming. And yeah. With that being said, man, let's get into the comparison. And here I have the recoil pattern for the Bullfrog, which, to be honest, it's a little weird because when I was doing this recoil pattern, it felt like it would have a lot of recoil, but the fact that it took a long time to develop that recoil, like, it felt like I was shooting in slow motion. Like, the recoil just felt like it was moving in slow motion. And that works well because when you put on attachments, it pretty much has no recoil, and this gun is just very accurate, very easy to control, and even at ranges, it's pretty good. Like, it kind of reminds me of a MP7, but I think it's a better version. Actually, that's a stretch. I ain't gonna lie, so that's a little bit of a stretch. If you guys remember the MP7 meta, man, the MP7 was literally like the AR, the SMG, and like it was just good for everything. I don't know if you guys remember that meta. I miss that meta a lot. This Bullfrog is honestly like probably the closest thing we can get to it, because I know the MP7 is kind of weird right now. Some people, run it and they're like, it's not bad, and some people run it and it's like, it's too weak. That's off topic, but this Bullfrog definitely has that range aspect to it. I think compared to an FFAR, it's a lot more reliable at range. I know that there's instances I've seen a lot of people, been able to beam people with the FFAR at really long ranges where you're like, damn, I didn't know you could do that with FFAR. But more than likely, like, the average person will be able to kill someone farther with the Bullfrog than FFAR, and that could just come down to the fact of recoil control. Because FFAR controlling recoil, like, it's not that hard for like certain ranges. But when you start getting to those pretty long ranges where, I'm talking like, I don't know, like 100, 150 meters, or not, maybe that's a little too far, but, I'm talking about those ranges where the recoil starts kicking in. A lot of people just can't do it. But the Bullfrog really is just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know this clip right here, bro, like, I was just aiming a little too high up. If I had put my sights on the target, I would have easily killed them a lot quicker. That was just me, though. That was a user mistake. But I'm telling you, man, this gun, bro, it's just so good. Like, it's so underrated, and I'm glad that right now it's getting a lot more attention. Like, I know it's always been really good, but like the Mac has overshadowed it, and then meta after meta just kept overshadowing the Bullfrog. But now I think with the potential FFAR nerf, again, this is like really relying on the FFAR nerf again, which might be overkill to some of you guys, but like, honestly, I wouldn't mind if they just reverted mobility or the versatility of the FFAR, which I think needs, or that gun needs the versatility and mobility that keeps getting nerfed, and just nerf the damage and fire rate. I'm not talking like crazy nerfs, like where the gun's unusable, because the gun is, it was fun to use, but it just got ridiculous when everyone started using it as SMG. And, SMGs kind of just became obsolete, which sucks because, I personally missed the SMG meta. The past few days I've been running the Bullfrog because I just couldn't take using FFAR. Personally, I am way more comfortable with the Bullfrog right now than the FFAR. I don't know, like, this gun is just amazing. Like, damage-wise, I think could compete with the FFAR. It's just that the one factor that the FFAR has over the Bullfrog is just how fast it shoots. And don't get me wrong, the Bullfrog has a pretty decently fast fire rate. It's not like nothing too crazy, but it's pretty damn good compared to like other guns. It's very solid, I would say, I guess. And the damage definitely makes up for it. I've outgunned my fair share amount of FFARs. I definitely feel like I can compete with FFARs with my Bullfrog. I have no problems with gunning FFARs. I have no problems gunning any other guns for that matter. Like, I just feel like I'm unstoppable with the gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel very, very, very confident with the Bullfrog, and especially since it's SMG. Like, no matter how good that FFAR mobility is now, like Bullfrog mobility is just on that SMG level. Like, it makes it just that much better. But yeah, man. With that being said, let's get into FFAR. I never had the recoil pattern for the FFAR, which you can see develops really quickly compared to the Bullfrog. This one in 25 bullets gets to this point, showing like the difference between recoil control with the Bullfrog and FFAR. Obviously, I think the FFAR requires a lot more to control recoil now than it did back then, and even before. I felt like recoil control was like, it wasn't extremely hard, but compared to a Bullfrog, it's a little bit more difficult. Especially now, again, with different class setups. As you guys saw, I put up 2 different class setups, and I'll get into that in a second. But, depending on what class setup you use, the recoil control of FFAR now could get potentially harder for some of you guys. I know some of you guys out there might not use the field agent foregrip, and, that requires a little bit more to control. And at range, it becomes a little bit less viable. But the Bullfrog, man, I'm telling you, dude, that thing is literally a beamer. Like, I think when AUG and FFAR become, like, non-meta, the Bullfrog's going to shine in a lot of aspects. It's going to definitely give people that... It's just going to make people feel like the MP7 meta again, which is dope, because that meta was dope. And the Bullfrog is a good weapon. But besides that, man, again, you guys saw 2 class setups in the beginning. There was one with the Raider stock and one without the Raider stock. And that, again, comes down to the fact that I personally despise the Raider stock now. Like, I don't know what happened when the Raider stock, when I first started using these guns and I used the Raider stock, it was never a problem. I always, like, embraced the strafe with open arms. I was like, this strafe is awesome, it's amazing, and, like, I can't get gunned. But now the strafe is just unbearable at times. Like, I literally lose winnable gunfights in situations because I'm strafing. So I have a tendency to, like, when I'm aimed in, to move around, and, like, normally, my guns don't have a lot of strafe, so the minimum, like, my movement left to right isn't that crazy. Like, I'm not sitting here just zooming left to right. But with the Raider stock, like, I'm fucking moving, you know what I'm saying? And it throws out my aim completely, and I lose so many gunfights because I just can't control my strafe. Because I'm not expecting the strafe. Even though I know I have it, like, I'm not expecting it like that. It just gets crazy. Because when I don't intentionally trigger it, like, it's just, it messes me up completely. So what I started to use was the flashlight. I do sacrifice ADS speed, but I just have the ability to control my gun a lot more. I know a lot of you guys out there don't really feel different. You probably can't control the Raider stock, and to be honest, it's not a nuisance. That's why I have 2 different class setups, because if you don't want to use a Raider stock, I would recommend a flashlight, or forget all of that, just put on an agency suppressor and just take off your field agent full grip if you just want the suppressor. But that's another thing. That's another reason why I like the Bullfrog so much, and that's just because I have the ability to use agency suppressor. Like, I will not sit here and use the FFAR without a field agent foregrip, which means I can't use the agency suppressor, or else my gun will be too slow. And if this gun is too slow, then that's when you kind of messed up. Like, the FFAR used to have the ability to have a pretty decently fast FFAR, so making one that is pretty slow is putting you at a big disadvantage, because most people out there have a FFAR that can aim in relatively fast. Not like how it was before, but definitely not as slow as it can be right now. And also, another thing that the Bullfrog has that I forgot to mention was just the ammo capacity. And again, with the fire rate not being crazy, like, as the FFAR, like, 65 bullets on a Bullfrog doesn't go by quick. And if you wanted to get really crazy, you can go 85 bullets and make everyone just paying. You know what I'm saying? Like, 85 bullets on an SMG that is really good seems crazy. I haven't personally used it. I'm kind of, like, afraid to use it just because I don't want to experience the negative effect on my ADS. But I'm not sure how, like, crazy of an impact that has on it. So I might need to test that out. I think definitely I will. I want to see if that extra 20 bullets really is going to go crazy. I feel like 65 is enough, especially for the game modes that I play. I think 85 might be overkill for, like, solos, duos, trios. Quads, I can understand it, but, like, the other game modes, universally, I think 85 is acceptable. Even, I think the base one was, like, 50. Like, I even think 50 is enough. So, maybe some of you guys out there don't want to run the extended mag. Maybe you could just run, like, another attachment, make it as fast as possible. I use a serpent wrap, so maybe instead of, like, a mag, I could use a stock, or for some of you guys that are stock, or maybe a flashlight, or a sight if some of you guys want a sight. Like, I think this gun has a great just diversity in terms of class setups because of the mag. You don't have to necessarily waste an attachment on the mag, and I think, I'm telling you, man, like, I think pretty soon we're gonna be seeing how like the MP5 back in the day where there was like 10 different class setups that everyone would use, and you know, made the gun really good. I think it's gonna be the same for the Bullfrog. I think at some point we're gonna have, you know, that Bullfrog meta, and it's gonna be like, oh, this person uses this class setup and they think it's good. This person uses this class setup because they think it's good, or this other person uses this class setup. Like, I just hope that happens again. I just want variety again, man, because I just been really bored and just sad of playing Warzone lately because we're just stuck using these same weapons and it's just not fun, man. I cannot wait for the new season. I'm really hoping for a drastic change in meta and the landscape of things, but only one can hope. But yeah, man. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Bullfrog and the possibility of it becoming meta soon.